Wedgelock North America presents the Wedgelock I-Lock coupler installation overview. This short video will show the basic points of installing the Wedgelock I-Lock coupler. Not all installations are the same due to variation in machine configuration, but we hope to provide a basic understanding on what to look for during the installation of your Wedgelock coupler. Couplers purchased with the Wedgelock installation kits are provided with complete written installation instructions. It is important that you read through and understand these instructions, including all safety and welding precautions. This video is not intended to take the place of the detailed installation instructions. While most detailed information is provided in the installation instructions, we hope to show you the main points in this short video. Before you start on your installation, open the installation kit and check the contents of the components supplied to ensure those components are correct for the carrier machine the coupler is to be installed on. Position the carrier machine and bucket, if equipped, on level ground. Make sure that you have absorbent materials available to soak up any spilled fluid, and be sure to dispose of any used materials in a safe and environment-friendly manner. Prior to welding on the machine, disconnect the battery as outlined in the OEM carrier machine operator and maintenance manuals. With the pre-installation checks complete, let's get started on the install. As a general guide, use the installation reference card provided with all installation instructions. If attached, remove the bucket or other attachment from the carrier machine. Using the installation instructions as a guide, install the quick coupler in the proper orientation using the machine original stick and linkage pins. Once mounted, rotate the coupler completely through the full range of movement and check clearances around the coupler and the dipper arm. A key to a successful installation is the proper positioning of the manifold on the dipper arm or stick. It is suggested that the manifold be positioned as close to the end of the stick as possible without causing interference of the manifold or hoses that will be attached to the manifold. Remove paint as required and tack the manifold in place. Trial fit the hoses by rotating the coupler through the full range, watching the hose clearance. The hoses to be used between the coupler and the stick manifold are marked with yellow tape at one end, and the function is printed on the tape marking. This function will follow through all the way back to the control valve. Once proper position of the manifold is determined, finish weld in place. Checking for clearance, tack the 3-hose clamp mounting base to the stick approximately halfway up the stick. With the clamp fully assembled, check for adequate clearances, then weld the mounting plate in place. Some installations will require multiple hose clamps to be installed. After welding the manifold and clamps in place, paint to match to the proper OEM color. Using the yellow marked hoses, finish installing the hoses from the coupler cylinder to the manifold on the stick. Once the yellow coupler hoses are in place, install the blue marked hoses matching the function from the coupler to the manifold. The manifold fittings are matched to the fitting directly next to each other, starting from one side and moving across. Route the blue hoses through the 3-hose clamp. Once properly in place, pull each hose tight and tighten the 3-hose clamps. Use the provided abrasive resistant material as required to protect hoses from damage. Tie wrap the coupler hoses to existing hydraulic cylinder lines as required, continuing up the stick. At about the transition from the boom to the stick, attach the green hoses to the blue hoses, paying attention to the corresponding function. Continue to tie wrap the hose to existing hydraulic lines. With the boom hoses in place, determine the best location for the control valve, paying attention to the access to the relief valves and the capability of routing the hydraulic hoses and electrical lines. Using the mounting plate provided, attach the valve bracket in place and attach the valve to the bracket. Install fittings as required into the valve, being sure to install the inline check valve provided in the kit into the pressure port, which is marked with a P. Route hoses from the valve ports and connect to the hoses already installed and attached to the boom. Locate an adequate port in the pump which is associated with the curl function, and attach the line from this pressure port to the inline check valve installed in the pressure port of the valve. Using a gauge, verify full main pressure is being provided. In some cases where a full pressure port cannot be found, a flange block may be required to be installed in the main pump line. Locate a return to tank port or line and install either a fitting in the port or disconnect an existing line and install a provided T-fitting. Attach that hydraulic line from the tank to the port marked T on the control valve. Locate a mounting position for the I-Lock control switches in the cab switch panel and install switches as required. In some cases where panel slots are not available, a switch box is available for use. Route the electrical harness from the DIN connectors to the cab and plug in the switch harness. Notice the red color on one harness connection. This red harness connects to the wedge solenoid. Determine an adequate electrical source and attach positive and negative leads as required. Install the I-Lock controller inside the cab, located where the operator will be able to hear the alarm. Then connect the switch leads, the power source, and controller together as shown in this picture. That's it, your coupler is installed. Test the coupler function to ensure coupler is functioning properly. The I-Lock coupler with a fully independent safety system is now ready for use.